Yeah.
What up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Source and Company. I am your host, Source, of course. As always, you can follow me on TikTok, which is where this live is taking place, at Source, of course, here, at Source, of course, on Instagram. YouTube, if you want to follow YouTube, is Source and Company. Um, Usually post shorts and used to post interviews, but I haven't done many in the more recent time frame, but we'll be back to it. We back to it right now, as a matter of fact. Long as TikTok act right.
Yeah.
So today's company is my guy. This is the only person that when I went to New York almost 2 years ago, that I told them that I was coming. This is the only person on this app that I told I was coming to New York. And he came out and met me. We chopped it up a little bit, had a good time, and I appreciate that. It is my man, Tom Danger, or Tommy
Appreciate
Danger, depends on who you ask.
it's Tommy Danger. It's the Now or Later Man. It's the Triathlon Dawn. It's Danger. And if I'm going to work, it's Mr. Brown.
It is Mr. Brown. I like
Or
that
some
one.
people call me Coach T.
Not coach. Oh yeah, true. Actually, that's true. That's true. We can get into all that if you so choose.
All right, listen, there's only thing I prefer is no politics, no religion. Everything else we can talk about.
No politics, no religion. Well, that's pretty easy to get around. So tell me this.
Yeah.
Since you brought it up before we started, what version of Tom Danger are we getting today?
Hold on. Can you hear me? Don't say shit to me. Salute me, I'm a captain. I'm young, black, and gifted. Fuck y'all, I'm rapping. It took a minute, but I made shit happen. Always got something to say, cause I'm a black man. I trade my suit and tie for a pair of denims. Drop them other bitches, got one good woman. Give a fuck what you think, cause you see how I'm living. No one gave me beats, that's how I got the rhythm. And I'm killing them, but yo, I'm not Cam. He made me bout it, but I get it. Got the blam. That's what you get when you stand in the way, fam. 18, fam. Buddha B and Tom Danger and you slowly about to know me. It's the Now or Later Man. But hold on, Source. That's what you're getting today. Talk to me.
That's what I'm talking about right there. That's how I like to start things out, Tom Danger. Let's go. That was
Yeah, let's do
unexpected.
it.
That was
Yeah,
unexpected. I appreciate it.
no
Bars
problem.
on bars.
Right.
Y'all see what it is. Tom Danger in the place. Glad to have him. Hey, once again, I know it was 2 years ago, but I appreciate you pulling up, man, and coming up when we were in New York. You
Yeah.
said, hop on that train. You can be anywhere in 30 minutes. So,
Yeah.
so I definitely appreciate that. How you been, man? How you doing?
Life is absolutely amazing. I've slowly learned that for every lick of pain that I take, I get an additional rainbow in the sky. So I'm happy to see the day.
Word. I respect it. I respect it. The hustle is real, man. I tell you all the time, but I'll tell you in front of these lovely people
Yeah.
that you keep me inspired. Not only directly, like with your words to me, but just with your actions, you stay moving in the direction you want to move in. And I appreciate it. I see it. I love
Thank
it.
you.
Because there's always the ones that look, see you, and may have something to say to
Yeah.
this, to that, whatever the case may be. But we keep moving in the direction that we love. So I appreciate it, and I appreciate you for doing that as well.
Thank you. Real talk, I had a conversation with my kids yesterday and we're talking about confidence. And I was telling them this may sound bugged out, but I was like, yo, I love myself so much that I could walk butt naked in front of the mirror and I get happy every time I see myself. I don't need nobody else's validation to tell me how I should feel or whether or not I'm a dope artist. I get up and I do it every day because I love it. And
Yeah,
I love me first. And I think that exudes in everything that I do. So that's just how I lead my day.
I love it. I love that, man. That's a great way to be because it can be difficult. I don't know what I saw recently, but somebody was explaining that even if you're confident or you don't worry about what other people say, like you still
You
hear what
still
other people
here
say,
with us.
and maybe you
100%.
you know how to deflect deflect from it or not internalize it, but it's still out there. And I can appreciate that point of view that you gave.
Yeah, I mean, I see, like anybody else, I probably see more negative than positive about what I do. But I've been doing it so long that I've like gained thick skin. And honestly, I think I react the same way to positive comments that I do to negative comments, because if I get excited by a positive comment, then you feed my ego, and then my ego gets so excited that when I hear a negative comment, I can get somewhat deflated. So rather than to get excited by either or, I'm just appreciative that I've gained someone's attention, even if it's for a second.
Indeed, indeed, and that's the attitude to have. That's probably anything for real. You get high off the highs, and you're gonna get low off the lows. But if you can maintain and appreciate, you can appreciate it, but you don't have to. It doesn't have to change who you are just because somebody sees you a certain way, whether
Yeah.
it's high or low.
And then also, like, I know a lot of us want to go viral and we want to get the interaction. But for me, when the light gets too bright, it makes me nervous, and it makes me back away from the app. Like, I've gone viral a few times, and you know, I remember the first time on Instagram when I hit like 1 million views.
Mm.
My damn phone just kept ringing all the time, and all the comments, and 90% of the comments it was like, I ain't shit, I'm just bootlegging, like all of this wild stuff. And then it was a lot of comments like, oh, this is good, so forth and so on. But it was just so much coming at me at one time. When you're not used to that type of interaction, you have to build up to it. So that's why I just prefer to stay in the middle. Like, if it goes high, cool. If it stays low, cool. The question is, am I presenting my art, or am I presenting my authentic self every time I come on a platform? Like, I'm not trying to be nobody. Like, you've met me, and the way I'm talking is the same way we talk in person. It's not a different person. You know what I'm saying?
That's the best way to be. That's how I feel about it too. That's the best way to be. Best approach to life and to art. I know some people look for an artist to be something they aspire to. Like, I got this, I got that, whatever the case may be. But sometimes it's just a good person in front of you, and they can be that.
Yeah. Like, I interviewed with another guy, and he was like, yo, you inspire me so much, but I was nervous about interviewing you because I thought you were going to be an asshole. Because sometimes your heroes turn around to be not who you expect them to be, and then you're disappointed. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Oh
So
yeah,
I always keep that in the back of my mind. Like, there hasn't been an artist that I've interviewed, because I used to interview people too, that I was disappointed, but sometimes the energy just be off. But I learned not to take it personal, because when you're doing, round robin with interviews and 100 people asking the same questions, you may be interviewer number 47. The energy level starts to dip once you have those questions. So it's just like, I'm just happy to be here doing something that I loved as a kid, man.
that's a fact, bro. That's a fact. So I don't know if I asked you this before. No, I've asked you this, but we're gonna hear it along with the other people. I'm gonna hear it along with the other people.
And thank you
How?
for the people in the building tapping the likes and commenting. Thank you.
Absolutely. Oh, and shout out to my man Jamal. He said, I thought that was Agent Zero for a second. He thought you was Gilbert Arenas. I've never considered that, but I hear you. I hear you. But how did we get here? I know. So you are from New York City,
Yep.
specifically.
Harlem.
I let you say it. I ain't even know.
Yep.
So when I talk to people that are a little bit younger than me, or a lot younger than me, and they were born into hip hop actually being a thing, it kind of hits different hearing them talk about it.
Right.
So I was about to say, how did you get into hip hop? But you probably were born into it, 'cause especially being in Harlem.
Yeah. I was born into it. The very first rap record I heard was Sugar Hill Gang that my grandmother had on 8-track.
Not the 8-track.
She had it on 8-track. After that, the first record that I ever bought I want to say was Sweet Tea, It's My Beat.
Mm,
After that, it was Gangstar, My Words I Manifest.
wow.
And then was T La Rock, It's Yours.
I like what you're talking about here, bro. I like what you're talking about here.
Yeah, yeah. So we used to have this record spot uptown called Rockin' Wills. And Rocket Wills was a small mom and pop record shop that had originally started putting out mixtapes in Harlem. This is
Mm,
when Kid Capri was doing his blends. This is when mixtapes cost $50, right?
word.
Um, in addition to Kid Capri, my dad used to play softball from across the street from a famous roller skating rink called Rooftop.
The
And while he
rooftop.
was playing, Rooftop across from the Rucker
Yeah.
Park, when he would be playing softball, my pops is a hustler, so he would give me money. And instead of me watching him play softball, I would go to the roller skating rink because it would be open midday and ask the DJ to make me a mixtape. And while I was roller skating around the ring in an hour, he would make you a mixtape. And by the time I get ready to leave, he's doing a shout out. Come on, shout out to my man, my man, like doing everything right there live. And yeah, man, that's like how I really got into it.
That's dope.
Yeah.
And not everybody can have them type members. I don't even have nothing like that. Jeez, for real, for real. Because New York is a different place. I
Yeah.
know, and I think people, to an extent, make New York out to be like a fancy world. And like, oh my God, it's New York. And I get that to an extent. But New York is real people with real lives, just like
Yeah.
everybody else. It just so happens that they got the bright lights along with that real life that can be part of your existence. Although
Yeah.
I always hear New Yorkers say things like, "I don't visit. I've never visited." I think it might have been Meth that recently said, "Yeah, I've never been inside the Statue of Liberty to visit it, to go see it, because that's not a New
Um,
York thing."
Fun fact, I lived in building 160 for about 7 years when I was a kid. That's
Oh
on
yeah.
Park Hill, same building. So my
Okay.
dad would always say, and my mom used to say, rest her soul, she'd be like, "You don't remember Miss Cynthia from the sixth floor with her sons?" And I was like, "Nah, ma, I don't." She was like, "Those the guys, that's the Wu-Tang Clan." And I was so little, I was like, "Nah, ma, I don't remember them." But um, I have some cool stuff coming up. So hopefully, when I get a chance to talk to Meth, I'll jog his memory to see if his mom knows that my mom knew his family. So
Oh man, who was it that you ran into recently that just reminded me of when you were walking down the street?
Smooth B,
Smooth B, that's right.
Smooth B,
You,
Smooth
you
B is
said
a trip, man.
that was
Smooth
your
B,
second time, right?
the second time. Smooth B is like he gives you the typical artist answer, like, "Let's do a song." Yeah, 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 man. I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna hit you. He'll never hit you, man. Like every time he see, yeah, yeah, bro, we gonna do something. Um, I was gonna add. I did a freestyle to one of their beats, and I was gonna add the audio when he was talking to me at the beginning of it. But
Mm.
what I do is before I put the mixtape stuff out, I have a channel on Instagram, so that's sort of like my test audience. So I'll drop the verses in there first to see the feedback that the people give me before I actually release it to everybody. So that one didn't get that big of a reaction, so I didn't put it out.
Oh man, that would have been dope though. To
Right.
me, I missed that. That
Yeah,
probably
but
was
I mean, on top of that, I've seen them so much that I'm pretty sure I can get them in a video, so I ain't worried about that.
right, right. I hear that.
Yeah, and it's like
Talking,
now artists are so accessible
yeah.
because everybody's trying to make money, so it's not really that hard. Like I have a track with Ron Browse, and I was like, "Yo, man, I need you to be in a video," and he's like, "Yeah, if you got the right price, I'll be right there." Like it's not even the question. So even to be independent and to be able to talk to people such as yourself, I don't ever want you to. Not saying you do, but I put you up there with the greats in hip hop. I'm all over the place, but there was a recent Twitter conversation about the decline in hip hop journalists, right? And how people are like, you just got a bunch of hacks. And I'm saying to myself, Source does such an amazing job. In some of your posts, you're like screaming at these platforms, like, yo, I'm over here. And it's just like it's falling on dead ears when you are truly a connoisseur and hip hop historian, not only for the past, but for the present, to where your voice could really be the authority, a respectable authority in the voice of hip hop. So I'm going to be that guy online that every time that conversation comes up, I'm going to be like, at Source, because people just have to see what you can do or what you're doing. So
I appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it.
no problem. And yeah, for the right price, you can work with particular artists. And we just live in a different time and space, man, where you can do whatever you want as long as you open up your mouth.
True. Do you think that, again, I'll say I appreciate it, bro, for real, because we just be over here grinding until we can't do it no more. But do you think that accessibility is better for hip hop as a whole, or do you think it makes it look too accessible? Like, are we too close to the stars?
I put it to you this way. When I used to do interviews, I had to go through literally a PR person and a manager,
Yeah.
right? And before I did the interview, the PR person would do one of two things. They send me a list of questions to ask, or they send me a list of questions that I couldn't ask. Now, when I stalked Kim Osario for 1 year to do an interview, I was literally talking to her, and she ignored me for 6 months until the 7th month. She was like, bro, what do you want? Like, I see you always in my messages, like sending me. And I was like, yo, I do this independent. I value what you have to say. So, long story short, I did one phone interview and then I did another interview in person. And I think once people see how you move and the quality of your work, it's not really that hard to get other interviews. I think when you talk about too accessible to me is the disregard for people's private space and the shit that happened to Brian Pumper. You know what I'm saying? It's like you walking about your business, people run up on you, they try to get a quick come up, they pull out their phone, they try to harass you and do wild stuff, catch you on camera, catch you slipping just to get some views. And even when you do dumb shit like that, you're not getting a brand deal. Nobody's offering you a job just because you caught a lick like that. So I don't know in what mindset or what planet people think that because they're embarrassing someone and being miserable, that it's going to do something. And or if that same mentality goes on certain platforms like, who's that other asshole? Adam 22, you know what I'm saying? That just brings brothers on there and make them act a fool. And he sits there like he's the Greek god. You're not going to put hands on me. I'm going to get security. And it's like, I think things like that is what I would say is too accessible. But then you have to look at the type of people that he's interviewing and the type of agenda that they're promoting. You know what I mean? So, which is why I hold you in such a high regard, because the way that you articulate hip hop is so intelligent that I just admire it so much. And I've yet to see anybody else do it like that. Besides, I would say Torre, but Torre's ego gets in his way sometime. I think he's getting high on his own supply right now, especially when he had all of the Diddy stories that he just ran with for a good 3 weeks. Good stories, but you could tell like he was just he was milking it.
Yeah, true. And he's got a million stories. He's got a million stories. So I don't even know, like if he chooses to go that route, that's on him. But he don't even have to do that. He doesn't even have to do that.
No.
Because his resume,
Yeah, I mean, but at the end of the day, it's entertainment, so I get it. You know what I'm saying? But there's no reason why your name shouldn't be mentioned in those conversations. Is what I'm saying.
I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that. As somebody would say, from your lips to God's ear. Whatever that means. Yes, that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this music, man. Let's talk about Tom Danger, the artist.
Yeah.
You You're a
Kid,
hardworking man. I love to see it. I'll say it again. I love to
oh,
see it. I
thank
appreciate
you.
the,
I mean, I have some pretty good habits. I have strong discipline, so I write pretty much and record 5 days out of the week. Weekends are dedicated to making content on Saturdays. Sunday is editing. So by the time you see the batch that comes around every week, it's just wash, rinse, repeat for the past 7 years. And after a while, you get this stockpile of music and songs and stuff. And I recently seen a clip from DJ Jazzy Jeff in which he just kept saying "die empty," right?
yes.
So that was part of the reason that I put out this mixtape, One More in the Clip, which is symbolic of two things. Like, you don't know whether or not there's something else in the chamber, if it's one more being one of the last or one more meaning an additional. But at the same time, it's synonymous with always giving something more to give. And I think that a lot of us give up too easy, like when shit get hard, right?
Yeah.
You just got to push yourself. And when you push yourself, because I do this Ironman training stuff.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
When you push beyond what's comfortable to uncomfortable, that's really when you start finding out what your gems are. You know what I mean? So the music is something that I love. I'm comfortable in a space now where I can experiment. I work with some amazing producers. Shout out to Don Brady, Leisure B, Julian out of Germany. I got a young kid by the name of Josh, 16 years old, out of PA, that's also killing it. I'm just surrounded by this creative energy, and I don't even ask for it half the time. People are just sending me stuff like, yo, I need you on this. I think I'm halfway full of releases for 2025 already, and we're not even in December yet.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some major joints too. Like I'm happy. Like I can work with major artists now, and it's just a cool ass feeling.
Yeah, I agree. Totally understood. That's dope. Talk about the last project that you just dropped actually recently.
So One More in the Clip is 14 tracks. It's not available on any streaming platforms. It is available on my website. But what makes this project unique is that I also have an NFT keychain. And with that NFT keychain, once you get it, it's going to give you additional bonus material that'll have sort of like a mini documentary that talks about my creative process. And then it'll also have additional music that's not even on the website or on streaming platforms. So it's sort of like a keepsake. And then in addition, I can continually update it, and I'm only going to release it to about 20 people. So the people that have it will have this unique piece of art that no one else has.
That's fire. That's fire. I've always thought about NFTs. I never really understood the whole process.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, I did consider trying to do something maybe a year or two ago. But yeah, I never understood the whole process. I understand the value of it because it's one of a few or one of one sometimes. But
Absolutely.
yeah, it just got a little complicated for me. I was like, maybe I shouldn't do it. You know, I moved on.
Yeah. No, real quick, Melvin in the building. What up, Melvin?
What's up, Melvin?
I was going to say, so my son is an engineer, and he's seen when I was looking at, because it's a company that makes those keychains, and they charge you anywhere from $10 to $12 to make those. And he was like, Dad, I could show you how to do it for a couple pennies. And I was like, word? And he was like, yeah, he showed me this thing. He stopped by the crib, and he's like, all you got to do is whoop, 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 whoop. And it only takes like 3 minutes because it's basically like a sticker. And in that sticker, it has wires that can be programmed. And it's basically a fancy QR code. So you can program it to point to somewhere else. It's that simple.
That's fire.
So like fire. Even in your book, like if you wanted to do something different, like if you wanted to give an audio version, so you want to bump it up and say, okay, you're selling the book at 20, but if you want it with the audio version, you can do a QR code too, though. Just record yourself reading it, put it on the website somewhere, like in a podcast or something, but make it private to where only people who have that link can get access to it.
Beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. I love that. I love that. You just mentioned triathlons, and you were saying you push yourself to what you think is your limit. You push past that limit, and as they say, appreciate it, Melvin. As they say, on the other side of that
Thank you,
moment
Melvin.
is greatness.
Yeah. Well,
And
listen.
you applied that to your training for a triathlon, or where did it come from?
The training, it just, I turned 50 years old last year, and I just started reflecting on life, saying like, yo, I want to create this bucket list of things to do. And I've always been an avid, like into fitness or whatever, but I said, I don't really have a goal as far as where I'm going. So I decided, I actually found it by accident because one of my coworkers, I thought he was an Ironman, and he's much older than me. So I was like, let me sign up for this Ironman so I can like brag to my coworker, like, yo, I'm doing it too. So I signed up for the Ironman, not knowing what I signed up for. It's a mile and a half swimming, 60-mile bike ride, and a 13-mile run, all in one leg, right?
Yeah.
So I hit him, and I was like, yo, I signed up for this Ironman. I'm struggling with the swim part. What should I do? And he goes, I never did the Ironman. I told you I was a triathlete, so I never did any distance like that. You on your own.
I don't know.
Yeah, so if you go to my Instagram page, I've been documenting the journey of me learning open water swim to swim in the ocean, swimming, cycling, and all that stuff. I did do the first one, it was a month ago. Actually, next week I'll make a month. So I get there, it's about 4,000 people, and I get out there about 4:30 in the morning because it's held in Jones Beach, which is about an hour and a half from the city. 4,000 people register. It's storming. It's pitch black. I have on my wetsuit. A lot of people are barefoot. You're standing out in mud. It was freezing. I had to throw my shoes away because you can't take your shoes into the water. I had to wait like an hour to get into the water. And once I hit the water, it felt like I hit a warm bath because it was so cold. It was raining.
Wow.
And we all just standing out there shaking. You see people going through emotions because they start seeing the waves just coming at you. It was the remnants of the hurricane that was out there. So they were saying like, oh, you're going to hit some choppy water going out. But if you make it to the halfway point, the breeze will push you back. So people started breaking down psychologically. They dropped out before they even got in the water. And I got in the water. I got in the water. And I could just hear my coach, shout out to Doc. She was like, you better keep your head down and swim. So I got out there the first 400 meters. I got my head down. I'm going. I'm cutting through this water. I look up, water, wow, hit me in the mouth. I'm like, I can't catch my breath. Let me go back. Another 100 meters, come up. It's a guy on a canoe or kayak next to me. He's like, you okay? I'm like, yeah, I just got to catch my breath. Yo, Source. I tried to go another 100 yards and the water was so choppy. Every time I came up for air, you're supposed to do what's called bilateral breathing. So you have to learn how to breathe from your dominant side, which is my right, but also to your left. I'm not that good bilateral because my dominant side was to my right. Every time I went to my left, the water just kept hitting me. So he was like, rest on the kayak for a minute. I rest on the kayak. He's like, okay, we're going to push another 100 meters. I go back in. I'm trying to push. Couldn't cut through. Getting hit in the face with the water. He's like, do the breaststroke. So I'm doing the breaststroke. I'm going like this. And as I'm going, the wind is so strong that after I went out 100 meters, I turn around and look. I'm like, yo, why are we still at the same buoy? He said, no, you went up. He said, the wind is so strong, it keep pushing us back. I did that 4 times. I went up 100 meters. It kept.
Wow.
I was just like, this ain't cutting it, man. I said, we got to pull it. So what happens is you only get 1 hour to complete the swimming leg. If you don't complete it, you get what's called a DNF, which is did not finish. So I wound up getting pulled out of the water. I was just frustrated because it just felt like I kept going, but I wasn't going anywhere. Now, I learned afterwards that even though I got pulled out before an hour, I was supposed to be able to complete the race, but the officials didn't tell me, right? So they was just like,
So you thought it
basically,
was
you
over.
gotta go. Right, like it's over for you. But I was supposed to be able to continue with the stipulation of I'm not allowed to get my time documented because they put a timing chip on your ankle to track you. So like the whole time I'm out there, my family's back at the hotel and like they can see me going out in the water because it has like a little emoji, you watching everything. They're like, damn, you was going fast at first, and all of a sudden you was just in the middle of the ocean. We like, yo, what happened? Like, what's going on? They was getting nervous. But anyway, it was an experience. I'm
Yo,
crazy. So I'm going back this year. I started training all over again. I didn't stop. So yeah, just stuff that's on the list, man. I figure the average man in my family has lived about to be 77, so I got 27 more years to live out everything, and I'm gonna do everything to the max.
that's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about. That's crazy though. Getting stuck out. I can't swim, so that is
Yes, sir.
not even an option at this moment, you know. But that's the fact that you even attempted that is crazy to me, which I love because I love to see people do stuff that other people won't do or think that they shouldn't do or can't do, and they go out there and whether you it's a success to me. I don't know how you feel about it. It's a success to me because you went out there. And as you said, some of them people stayed on the side because they was like, nah, I ain't messing with that water. Like, I
Yeah, I
ain't trying to
mean,
do it.
it really gives you another perspective in life when you could jump out in the middle of the ocean in a storm and even hold your own for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
When you come back on land and like certain things are coming at you, you're like, like it don't even like things that used to frustrate you doesn't frustrate you because the role of a true Iron Man is the ability to adapt to any situation in seconds. That's what it teaches you. It's not necessarily just the fact that you could swim for a long time. It's the fact that you can adjust and adapt mentally within seconds to get through whatever situation.
that's real. That's the beauty of sports in general.
Yeah,
Athletics, sports is dealing with controversy or problems, issues, and fighting through it
yep,
with a team or on your own. That's
absolutely.
dope. That's dope, man.
Well, thank you, Melvin, for checking out the music.
Yes, sir. Once again, we have Tom Danger in the building. Tom Danger, you can follow him on Instagram at
Tom Danger. That's
that's
it.
it, Tom Danger. That's all you need to
Tom
know.
Danger. Tom Danger.
One rapper that has inspired you early on. One rapper that inspired you early on when you decided to start rapping or got into the game.
I got my wall right there. So upper left hand corner is KRS One.
I was
Yeah,
talking about KRS One this morning because one of my homies, who I forgot to send him this video. One of my homies was we were talking about controversial hip hop opinions, and
right.
I was telling him that I did a video back a while back, and people responded with videos and all that, and I made compilations. And I told him that I was like, like there was wild, people were saying wild stuff. One
Hmm.
person even said, KRS One is all right, but he can't rap.
What?
I was like, bro, like this is where we draw the line. This is where we draw the line. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? Children.
You know,
He wasn't even that young. That's the bad part. He wasn't even that. I don't
but
understand.
but the thing is, right? So if you really, aside from liking KRS One, he's a triple threat. He's a battle MC.
Yeah.
When he chooses to be a commercial artist, he can be a commercial artist,
True.
and he's a gifted speaker. Like, what are you saying?
I don't,
Like,
I don't know. I don't know. I just people going people. That's what they gonna do. People going people. So
right.
gotta let them be what they gonna be. More
Yeah.
recently, is there anybody that has sparked your interest or you have your eye on?
Oh, I'm a huge Tyler the Creator fan. I've probably spent more money in the past 3 days with him than what I should have.
Okay. So
Because
you
he
saw,
has that chromacopia that's coming out.
yeah.
And it's just I'm just a huge fan of his bravery. But when you really listen to him on a deeper level, he speaks to the artists, and basically telling you like embrace your art. Don't be afraid to put your art out there, no matter your age, no matter your gender, whatever you're into. Put that shit out so that everybody can hear it. So I have a recent song that I just dropped for Halloween. It's called Zombies.
These.
And shout out to Don Brady for putting a Halloween EP together, which I've never been a part of, which is really dope. And it challenged me to do something different because the producer, Don, was like, yo, here's this song by Will Smith that's called Nightmare on My Street. I want you to do something similar to that. So I listened to it and I did based on that influence. That's where that song came from. So it's
That's what I felt when I listened to it, when I saw the video.
yeah, thank you. So if it wasn't for the influence of people like Tyler the Creator, that's like, yo, you can't always be cool and tough. Like you got to be a little silly, be real, like be presentable to people and not just like you're just one dimensional. And people love the song. I'm surprised. Like it's one of those things. Like I was pleasantly surprised because I was like, okay, like we're doing this. I'm not sure where we're going with it, but yeah. Thank you.
Whatever brings the eyes to the table, man. Whatever brings the eyes to the table that represents you. Can't knock the hustle.
Yep.
I hate Halloween personally. I think it's because although I've taken my children trick or treating, I never went trick or treating as a kid. Never. Church thing,
Okay. Yeah,
So
yeah.
missed out on that. Missed out on the trick or treating. So I'm not a big Halloween guy. But I did listen to that joint a couple times or watch the video a couple times. So
Thank you. For some reason, TikTok on my page, they suppress putting it out. But when the producer put it out on his page, he did like 14,000 views. So, I mean, whatever works. I don't know.
yeah, that's one of those I don't knows. Gotta have them on your team, though. I respect it.
100%. Yeah, man. So going back to One More in the Clip,
Yes,
One
sir.
More in the Clip has 14 tracks on it, various producers. It's half industry beats, half original producers. I'm just talking my hip hop shit.
Indeed.
you know.
The joint is dope also, by the way, in case y'all wonder.
Thank you. Yeah, I asked this guy Source to feature on one of the tracks, but he was like, nah, that joint is for me. So I'm gonna get him on one sooner or later, just for the people out there. I am strongly advocating for Source to get out there. I haven't sent him that one yet, but for 2025, we're gonna bring him outside.
We're gonna get it done. We are going to get it done. Scouts on. I don't know how you do it, but yeah.
So good. Listen, even if it's for 8 bars, we're gonna get you outside.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. What else you got going on? Aside, so we talk music, talk fandom in music or inspirations,
Yep.
and we talk your triathlon life. And I know you're a family man as well.
100%.
What else you got going on? Because I like when you pop up live and you're walking through NYC. I love to see it. I love when people go live anyway. I think it's dope. So,
Yeah, I mean, family plays a huge role for me. Married, my Grace is in here. She's in here. What up, Grace?
what up, Chris?
Over, 25 years we've been married.
Dang.
4 kids. We're about to be empty nesters. So, living life from a whole nother perspective. And a lot of what I do is to inspire my kids. Like, I don't want them to feel like they need to live life within the confines of what other people think, because if dad's crazy enough to do it, you could do it. And I don't want them to think that they have to do things the way that I do it or go crazy as much as I do. but let them find their own crazy.
Right. I feel you
Yeah.
on that. My
And the same
oldest.
thing, like the same thing for my wife too. Like a lot of people may or may not know, but she films, 90% of the content that we have, and she takes the pictures and she's absolutely amazing. And she always wanted to get into photography and videography. I just so happened to be the specimen in front of the camera. So I got lucky, and that's just what we do. We're a very creative family. We joke around. We have a good time. We are each other's therapists. And it's just a really like we enjoy being together. Like we have family dinner like 4 days out of the week. We're not one of those families like, you take your plate, go back to your room. Like, nah, we sit down at the table, we talk. How did your day go? What's going on? Who's doing what in school? Who's doing what at whose job? You know, work through your feelings. Like, because if we're not strong communicators amongst ourselves, it'll be even more harder for us to communicate out in the world. So we use the table as the lab to get through all those feelings.
Man, it sound like us. Sound like us over here. Matter of fact, back to your earlier point, my daughter, my oldest daughter, told me not too long ago. She was like, somebody was saying how they couldn't do something, or they thought they were too old to do something like that. She was like, she brought me up as an example to one
Right.
of her friends. I was like, wow, that's thanks. I appreciate that. So you
Yeah.
never know who you're
Yo, like
who
some
you're
days
around.
when like when you be live and you be in a zone, like bro, you be in a zone. Like you be on your live, like ain't nobody else listening to the music but you. And it's a beautiful thing. Like you really be into them records. And I'd be like, yo, Source is really on it right now. Like this must be his joint because he don't see no comments. He don't see nothing. You're to it, which is fire.
So yeah, I mean, I'd be gone, man. I'd be just into the music, trying to figure out what, because I know I don't, you know, this DJing. I'm gonna start referring to myself as a DJ.
As you should.
So this DJing thing, I know it's wise to do set lists and playlists. It's easier, but
Right.
I never have up to this point. I've never done a playlist. I've never done a set list. I just do whatever feels right in the moment. So we just throw on whatever. So half the time I'm just trying to figure out what the heck I'm doing. What am I putting on next? Let me make sure I get it before the song ends. That type thing.
As far as the age thing is concerned, especially with the internet now, people may care about age, but it's not as much as long as they're entertained.
That is fair. I have a friend, not friend. I mean, we cool. Like we're not enemies or anything. But he's younger. But we were sitting in a barbershop, and I wouldn't say this to him, or maybe I will one day. But we were talking. We've talked about me being on, content creator, whatever, and he sees the stuff. But he has a friend, maybe a couple that has like 200,000 followers on Instagram, something crazy.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, we do whatever over here. But his thought is that, he's even said it's a young man's game. I didn't argue it because it's not really something that needs to be a point made. But in my mind, I'm like, but it's not. It's actually not it's not anybody's game. Because I see people from 8 to 80, as Big Daddy Kane would say,
Right.
doing whatever and
Right.
and being successful or having a lot of followers if that's what they are intending to do at any age. So the only thing that comes to me in a negative is people like if somebody says, "Hey, Gramps, don't blow," whatever, like that's nothing. But when people say stuff like, "You should be listening to jazz," I'm like, dog, you just say you don't love hip hop. Just say you don't love hip hop because you can't listen to it. Why would I do that? I mean, if I want to listen to jazz, that's what I'll do. But why would you think there's an age cap on listening to hip hop? That doesn't make sense.
I guess there's an age cap on wearing sneakers then.
Apparently so. You gotta
Or,
get
or,
some
or age cap on wearing jeans, or an age cap
this
for
hat.
sports. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's sort of like that can go in so many different directives. Um, I think Karis once said it best when it comes to the youth and the OGs when it comes to creativity. There has to be a bridge, right? We learn from each other. There's certain variables of freedom that a younger person may take in their approach to creating that we could learn something from. And
Definitely.
then there is a factual base trial and error that we've been through in life that the younger person can learn from, and then we can both create something amazing. And really, if you look at people who are successful, they always have youth around them.
Yeah.
There's always youth around them. So they're feeding into, somebody say yacht hip hop. You break that down for a second, yacht hip hop.
Yacht hip hop.
Yeah. Like
Yacht hop.
yacht hop. Yeah, so that doesn't bother me. Like if somebody says like, oh, you're building bridges, got you. Somebody says like, oh, you're old. I'd rather be old and good than young and trash. That's just me. Sorry, that's sorry. I mean, shit, man. Like, no. Mm-mm. Well, some people may say, well, you should be good. You've been doing long enough. Well, I have other people who've been doing it this long and they still shitty. So, I mean,
True.
what's the argument there?
Dopeness has no expiration. That's one of the mottos.
Yeah.
Actually, look, I heard my cousin say, not that I think I created that phrasing myself, but I heard my cousin say it in an interview. My cousin Raz Rashid, the MC from North Carolina. I was like, "Come on, bro, you could have gave me a pat on the back. I know you got that for me. I know you got that for me." Shout
Yeah.
out to my man Raz Rashid.
And I think it's very dope what you're doing with your platform because you're, from what I see, like you're experimenting with different things, man. I'm excited to see more interviews with just people that you enjoy, not even into anything in particular. Like whether it's, a caterer, whether it's a barber, just
Yeah,
people that you find interesting conversations. When I first seen you, I call you the Walter Cronkite of hip hop. So yeah, man, just keep having those interesting conversations because play on older artists making music and slow in that. Aha. Yeah, just keep sharing with us the things that you love, and I will keep my word to do the same thing. So you'll probably see a bougier side of me because I like cappuccinos and these little French cakes that are called pedophores.
Pettifor. Never
Pedophores.
heard of them.
Yeah, my mom used to give them to me as a kid. They're these little like cube cakes, and they're red velvet. You can get red velvet, carrot, and lemon. So my wife usually gets them for me during the holidays. It's a French pastry. I like it a lot, man. Yeah.
That was the other thing I wanted to say because you said your wife's name,
Yeah.
Grace. And I remember, I'm not going to say this because I don't know that this is public
Yeah.
information, but you told me about your wife and your deal
Yeah.
and her being gracious. I didn't know her name was Grace at the time, but then pow, gracious. So
Yeah.
shout out to Grace. That's all.
Shout
That's all
out
I'm
to
saying.
Grace for being incredible.
Do you have anything to ask me, Tom Danger? I feel like, we chop it up on a regular basis and
Always.
we say what we
Always.
say, but you got anything you want to throw out there?
So I think, well, my question to you is when you don't feel like going live, what drives you to go live?
That's a great question. Actually, it's rare that I don't feel like going live. If I don't go live, it's because I'm working, doing stuff with the fam, wife's home and we watching the show, something like that. I go live like other people that go live all the time. I would be one of them for real. But in regards to your question, what drives me to do it is the same thing that drives me to think that if my wife left me tomorrow, that I'd still find love at a later time. I could still find love eventually. Or if I lose at this, I could still there's always and it's not like I'm a super positive. I'm not like a super positive person, but I think as much as I'm a realist, there's a little bit of romantic mixed in there. So I always think that the next time is the best time. The next time is going to be the one. So
Right.
whether that is for the betterment of myself or the worse, that's how I approach it. And it's not even a conscious thing. It's just the way I move, I think.
Got you. And in being online or just for your personal brand, what is your apex? Like what is that chip or what is that medal that you're looking to obtain by putting the work in that you put in so that you can know what it is when you get it?
If I could, the ultimate, probably not the ultimate, but high up would be the idea of being a full-time content creator and being able to share hip hop while interviewing hip hop artists, discussing hip hop topics, all those things with a monetary value attached. If I could do, and I mean that's a lot of people. A lot of people want to do things that they consider a hobby as their full-time job. And I know people are like, well, if it's your job for real, then it's not as much fun. I get that, but if you do what you love, I feel like if you do what you love, you never work a day
Gotcha.
in your life. So
Real quick, we got a question from June Gemini. What's going on, fellas? I just wanted to give my 2 cents in about the perfect song.
I should
Break it
ask
down.
you that actually. So I posted today, just this morning, having that conversation with the guy I was talking about earlier when we were talking about KRS-One. He brought up looking at the front door for some reason. And then he just said, man, that's a perfect song. And I'm like, yeah, it is a perfect song. And we just kept talking about that. And then we started talking about other songs that were perfect songs. So do you have a song that comes to mind when you hear the words perfect song? Any genre, any genre.
For me, selfishly, I would say anything by Barry White is the perfect song.
Wow.
If I were really going outside the box, the most perfect piece of music that I've ever heard is the soundtrack to Jesus Christ Superstar.
Jesus Christ. Superstar. That joint?
Yep. There was a gold mastered version. Sonically, I've never ever heard anything as good as that. From the way that it's composed, put together, absolutely amazing.
I respect it. I respect it. I see June said they reminisce over you.
Yep, he got Minnie Rippleton, Loving You. Okay.
Yeah, fair. Those are very fair. I saw a bunch of great answers. I was hoping that this, just for the fact that I would love to see people's opinions, I was hoping that this would go as crazy as the dopest first verse of a hip hop song on Instagram. But that joint is still going today. That joint is still going today. I'm like, dog, y'all still responding to this joint? Like you was talking earlier about having a lot of your phone keep going off. That's how my joint is from that video. Still, is wild. But I've seen a lot of dope answers from multiple Stevie Wonder songs to they reminisce over you multiple times. All the notes, like I've seen a bunch of stuff, and it's dope to see. Stevie Wonder, a lot of Stevie Wonder.
Yeah. He said, have we discussed the concept of adult contemporary hip hop?
It's a topic that has been moving and shaking around hip hop for years, for a few years, I should say, but it became more popular this year. I think maybe the end of last year, going into this year. This year is a crazy year for older hip hop artists. I think 2022 was as well, but this year, like it's been a lot of projects that have been put out to the masses as opposed to projects that don't get as much light. and it's beautiful. It might have to do with Killer Mike winning a Grammy too. Well,
But
the
I
Grammy.
think that, see, for an artist such as myself, even though I may fit into the age of it, my audience isn't there. So technically, I couldn't fit into that category,
And
right?
that's the question.
MC Light can, LL Cool J can, because their fan base is carried into that category, right?
Yep.
My fans are, 21 to 35 years old.
So the difference in the conversation that is had about adult contemporary music in general
Hmm.
and then adult contemporary hip hop, the difference is what you're saying, and also not even the fact that older artists are putting out music. Those other genres is older artists, older music that is often pushed
Right,
as adult contemporary. Hip
right,
hop, we're looking
exactly.
at the age of the people as opposed to I guess, the age of the music.
Right,
Because what I played would be considered adult contemporary hip hop for real if we were looking at other genres. But we're,
absolutely.
we're looking at it in a different fashion, and it's not really adult contemporary. It's its own thing. If they wanted to put it in a category, it would be its own thing.
So, yeah, let's see. I think that the parents who are true heads, the kids are respect the music. Now we talking about hip hop. We talking about rap music. We specifically talk about hip hop. We don't really talk about. Well, for me, I don't really talk about rap music too much.
Yeah, we're usually talking about hip hop
Yeah, I don't talk about rap music at all.
because I mean we look. You mentioned MC Light new project, LL new project with
Yeah.
Q-Tip on production,
Mm-hmm.
Common, Pete Rock,
Yep.
Ghostface,
Yep.
Dog Pound. I'm forgetting a bunch of people right now. Rakim.
Yep.
It's been a crazy year of
And
new work.
honestly, I probably heard almost all of those, and LL's project was better than everybody from his category.
Hmm. Ooh. Hot take. Hot take.
So you cannot tell me Rakim album was better than Ella album. No
Oh
way.
no. No way. You can't say that just based off the fact that Rakim doesn't rhyme that much. Like, not to take anything away from Rakim producing, but if you heard there's a new Rakim album, you're not going to it for the production. You're going to it to hear him rhyme. And if he's not rhyming
Right.
on over half the songs, then it feels a little lackluster in that way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I just think LL he dropped a superb project. Like I can't even say like some people argue like, well, it's not something you're gonna keep in heavy rotation. That's fine. That doesn't take away from him dropping a dope album. He dropped a dope album.
Yeah, I don't even think it's LL. I think people don't like it sonically. I think people don't like it sonically. I've seen people talk about the production. I'm like, it's not like Q-Tip came into this thing and said, well, I'm just going to make some fire. LL wanted something specific or something different.
Right.
He went in a different lane and he brought heat in a different lane. That's how I feel. I feel like he
Yeah,
brought
yeah.
heat in what LL wanted. So I think the album is dope. I do think Common and Pete Rock joint might get him. I think Common and Pete Rock might get him. But and MC Light joint is dope too. MC Light joint.
Okay. 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 I have to listen to the Common and Pete. Like I started listening to it and I really couldn't get into it. So
Yeah.
I got to check it out again. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is it because Common ain't from New York? Is that what it is? Come on, man.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. It's so interesting. I interviewed CL Smooth many years ago, and in watching the Drink Champs interview, I was pleased to hear like the backstory behind everything.
Right.
But Pete Rock said, "Nah, that's not in this lifetime. It's never gonna
Never
happen."
gonna get it, never gonna get it. Nah.
Nah, he said it's not. The Pete Rock said there's a bunch of other producers who are dope. You can go work with them. You're not going to work
Basically,
with me. Like,
they,
yo,
and I get it. I don't even want them to do a project anymore. After listening to CL, and maybe I took CL's story and what he was sharing in a different light or a different way than a lot of people did. I was like, I don't even like the energy of this thing. Like, they don't need to do a song. I don't even want to hear it. Like, I would love to hear it, but I don't want to hear it. If this is what we got to do, I don't want to hear it, man. I'm good.
Because then it's going to be forced, right? It's not that natural chemistry that they used to have. Somebody said Master Ace in the category, Skyzoo as well. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Master
Master
Ace.
Ace. Master Ace. I got to get back to Master Ace because I was supposed to interview him like almost a year ago, and it never happened. Then he was in Europe for a minute, and it just never happened. I kind of gave up on it, but I shouldn't have because Tom Danger says never give up.
Never give up. And I challenge you before we go to create your top 50 list and knock them out in 2025. The top 50 people that you want to interview and make sure that you hit them at least once a day.
Ooh, I like that. I like what you're saying, Tom. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you for real because, that's not something I would necessarily think about. And also,
Yeah.
I used to say this. I used to play flag football. I was all right. I was pretty good. Like, I played quarterback. But within my team, generally speaking, not saying this because it's me, generally speaking, I was the most knowledgeable or smartest player, and I was good. So there weren't a lot of people that would check me if I was doing something wrong, right? Or if I made a mistake, because I didn't make a lot of mistakes. It's not a lot of people wouldn't correct it or get mad at it, whatever the case may be. And I think about that when it comes to even this. There's not a lot of people, like people be like, oh, you dope, oh, you know this, you know that. And there's not a lot of people that will say, do this, try this. You should think about this behind closed doors or, But so I appreciate you saying that and putting that idea in the air for me to think about and actually move on. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, because you're already pretty much doing it when you're tagging people in the videos, but in addition to tagging them, just work those connects. And if you can get somebody on the phone or just DMs, like just do what you got to do, man. And don't stop till you knock down that list.
Don't stop till you get enough.
Word.
That's what I'm talking about.
Word.
You got something else you want to get off your chest? Oh, I was about to say, did you have any last thoughts, last words for the people?
Nah,
I feel like you do.
Nah. I'm gonna say that. To be honest with you, to be totally transparent, I had to get that off because I didn't want to forget the rhyme. So I said, yo, as soon as I hop on, let me spit this, because if I get too deep in the conversation, I'm not gonna remember the rhyme. So that was my way of making sure that I got it in.
Respect. Hey, look, I appreciate you chopping it up with me.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you for having me. Thank you.
Make sure y'all follow Tom Danger. If you don't, I know a lot of y'all do, but if you don't, make sure you follow Tom Danger here and on Instagram and wherever else he says.
Likewise. Make sure you check out Source, of course. You know I'll be throwing them up in the stories and everything. So.
And I appreciate it, bro. Once
All right,
again,
bro.
Appreciate everybody in the live. We're going to let Tom go. Do your thing, bro. Appreciate you.
All right. I'm holla at y'all.
Yes, sir.
Later.